In a fast-changing technology landscape where innovation drives growth, tech founders face unique challenges in bringing their vision to life and scaling quickly. From navigating the complexities around product development to securing the right investor, these challenges require careful planning and execution. One of the key strategies emerging in today's startup ecosystem is tech equity, a model that blends financial investment with technical expertise. But what exactly is tech equity? And why is it becoming a crucial component for the success of the Australian ecosystem? Today, we're diving into this concept with our panelists, and I'm joined by Fred Joy, Managing Partner at InHouse Ventures, Mark Nimco, co-founder at PaymentLogic, and Cameron Hope, founder at Hirehood. Panelists, hello and welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Great to be here.
Let's jump into it. Fred, how would you define tech equity and why is it crucial for the growth of tech startups?
Yeah, so the way we see tech equity at InHouse Ventures is coming in to fill in the gaps of an existing tech team in a startup and helping them grow faster. So basically what we do is we take care of the headache of hiring, retaining technical talent, while the founders can really focus on building their product and focusing on other areas of the business. That's in a nutshell.
Yep. Mark, anything to add?
Well, sure. I see tech equity as any investment where the purpose is to build a specific product or technical capability. In our case, the catalyst for our first equity investment was actually COVID. COVID dramatically reduced our revenue, as it did for many companies across really every industry worldwide. And a lot of companies attacked that challenge by cutting costs, which in our case would have meant reducing staff. But we chose to take that as an opportunity to accelerate development and really expand our product suite. And it meant that we were able to emerge out of COVID. And in the last 12 months, we've basically doubled our pre-COVID volume. So it seems like for us, it was the perfect opportunity to accelerate development when everybody else was going backwards.
Cameron, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think for me, and apologies, I think my internet's a bit patchy, so if I do cut out, let me know. But for me, it was critical as a founder. So as a founder, I had an idea that I wanted to launch, and whilst I have got certain skills and capabilities, one thing I didn't have was the tech capability. So absolutely critical for me as a founder to, I guess, team up with a tech firm who could build out our MVP for us, but then, our launch product, our go-to-market product. We certainly wouldn't be where we were today because, I just haven't got the skills or the know-how. I'm more of a sales people person. So, like I said, partnering with that tech firm was really the catalyst for us to get this product off the ground.
Yeah. And having two sets of teams building one product or platform can get complicated. What are some of the things founders need to consider before taking on this kind of investment? Let's start with you, Mark.
Well, I think with any outsourcing arrangement, there's always a potential that the new outsourced team is somehow treated as second rate or separate from the primary or in-house team. And that's really a recipe for failure. So in our experience, treating that outsourced team as if they were equal and bringing them along the journey, including getting them motivated and getting them aligned with the company strategy, is critical. And really, that's one of the major advantages of partnering with Arcanis in our experience, is the staff are so invested in the success of the company that I don't really think they're two sets of teams. So in an ideal world, your augmented staff or your outsourced staff really should be considered part of the main team, and that's a recipe for success.
Yeah. Fred, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would want to say that I think of all the investments we've had, and I think all the clients we've had, because with PaymentLogic we started as a client and decided to invest along with other investors in them. Mark has done a remarkable job at having at treating the team really well and giving them, I think, all the tools to succeed as a team with him. So he's also been, extremely dedicated to their growth, making them feel great. He's coming 2-3 times a year to see the team, and he was just actually in the Philippines 2-3 weeks ago, and the team love it. So it's really, I think you get out of your team what you're giving your team, and in the case of PaymentLogic, it's been done extremely well, both I think on the personal side, and I think also on the way the goals are managed, workload is managed. It's been super well done.
Cool. And when a tech equity investment and relationship proves successful, what are some of the key factors that drive this success? Let's start with you, Cameron.
I think just probably back to the initial question. One of the things that worked well for us was actually the two sets of businesses on there, and it was that the trust between myself and the tech firm, but we get that healthy challenge then and two sets of eyes, and that goes a long way in building a better product than if I was just to go down myself and the way I've got blind spots. So having an additional set of eyes on my business was critical to us getting off the ground, and I miss things and vice versa, and so I think that was absolutely part of the success. And also, given the tech firm had equity in the business, they did have some skin in the game. So we were very aligned on our deliverables. I would treat them like my team, but also respected that boundary that they're also they've got other customers as well and clients that they're working on, but absolutely treated them as one of my own. And we, Steve and I in this particular scenario have a really good relationship. We could text or message at any time and shoot ideas, left, right, back, forth to each other. But yeah, certainly the two sets of eyes for me was probably a huge win.
Yeah. Fred.
Yeah, you mentioned the skin in the game. I think that's also, a very important point is like as a provider, a regular provider, okay, you're getting money, you're trying to help your customer, but this level of trust becomes even more important when there's skin in the game. And for us, we always try to think, what can we do for PaymentLogic? What are the people that are available when they need someone? Who are the best ones they can get? And we also work really super hard to keep people on the team for them. So if someone wants to resign, then we of course try to help so that it doesn't happen. Understand, what we can do, and because at the end of the day, we're getting paid only if our investment succeeds, right? So we would do everything we can to make sure that we can, support them as with all the needs that they have in our capacity, right? We can't do everything, but we're trying to do everything we can.
Mark, anything to add?
Well, I think it's a really valuable point that Cameron's raised and Fred has reinforced, and that is founders of startups tend to be experts in something, and so they should be. But a tech equity investment can provide a fresh set of eyes, and they may also have experience growing and scaling more companies than the founder's single instance. So I think that experience is invaluable when you can put the benefits of both parties together. Hopefully you'll create some sort of synergy.
Elliot, can I jump in and add a bit extra there? They're also seeing other companies and businesses in the latest trends. So, there was often times where Steve would say, hey, we're actually supporting this company and they're doing this. I think this would work really well for your, marketplace SaaS platform as well. So, sorry to jump in, but I thought that was worthwhile adding as well.
Awesome. And how do you see the landscape of tech equity evolving over the next 5 years? Fred?
I don't know if I have enough, understanding of what's happening. We really believe in our model, and we've augmented the way we invest. And I think the hundreds of startups I've spoken with over the last 8 months, the model has been very well received. It's kind of new, right? But it has been very well received. So I can only see that founders really understand the value of that. I think there's just too few actors at the moment for it to be widespread and super well understood. But this is probably going to change. And so we've seen with what we're doing, right? We're having more investments now. We have like 23 investments to date. And so being able to show what we've done with these investments to others instills confidence. And we've also gotten a partnership with Techstars, for example, both in Europe and in Australia, which means like a huge seed fund is actually trusting us with what we've done with one of the managing directors' companies, but also with other startups in the portfolio. So, I mean, from my view, I see this as promising for us, and maybe some other people will get in the market and make this, much better known, and probably easier for us also to come in.
Mark?
Well, I think tech equity makes sense. It makes sense because in a traditional startup arrangement, investment funds are typically spent on building the product or the service. And specialist firms in that area can provide the types of benefits we've just talked about with having done that before. And I think, really it enables founders of startups to chase growth opportunities which otherwise the business can't fund. And I think that's the really exciting proposition. And generally, as founders of startups, there's a trade-off. And sometimes people are reluctant to dilute their own equity in the hopes that in the future, they're going to retain the wealth. But you need to look at the big picture. And that is, if the equity investment enables a growth opportunity that increases the overall valuation of the company, having a smaller percentage of a much bigger number, you could be much better off. So I think it's really combining the expertise of those founders with the investors. You have to pick the right combination to achieve that increase in valuation, and then everybody wins.
Yeah.
Cameron, anything to add on to that?
I think, what Mark just said, I went through that semi-recently, probably 2 or 3 years ago, where I was fearful of diluting the equity. But then, you sort of take a step back and you think about, if I want this thing to grow, something needs to change here. And, 100% of zero is zero. So if you're not getting any value in the company, there's no point of retaining 100% of it. So giving some away to allow it to grow is absolutely critical. But I think, for me, equity is very hard to come by, particularly in Australia at the moment. Costs of living is high and things are a little bit tighter than they used to be. So, in terms of the landscape of the tech equity and others, by the way, but I think it's critical. It's an option. It's an opportunity. I think, Fred, you touched on this too. You spoke about it instills a bit of confidence in other investors as well. So, for me, it was easy to get my next round of funding by going and saying, I've got the pitch studio on board who have built this, and this. And, myself, I'm a general manager at a large bank, great with sales and people, but very minimal tech experience. So to allow me to get to that next stage, it was certainly critical.
And what other emerging trends are you most excited about, and why? Let's start with you, Cameron.
Probably not an expert on this. There's a couple of things. Like I said, when tech equity's one, since as soon as you say you're raising capital, you get people coming at you. I've had people, marketing, HR, all these sort of skills they think they can add to the business. They're doing it for the sweat equity as well. But for us, it's really going to be AI, machine learning, predictive modeling for our customers, and using that data to grow our business and provide better customer experience.
Yeah. Fred, your thoughts?
As Cameron said, I think there's the AI trend coming our way. I think no one can deny that. Whether it's going to bring a lot of value or not, I think that's still a bit of a question mark. In our part of the world, I think this is still a bit early, though, because a lot of companies want to retain in-house I would say, the core value of their IP and algorithms and all that stuff. So we can support these companies with what we've done so far, and then the trend will come later. And I think that's the purpose of outsourcing as well, right? It's not to replace an entire team. In our case, because we come in like late seed, pre-series A kind of stages where a core team has already been assembled, and those are the experts in the domain, really. And then we come in and come around to help like scale. And so we're more into helping the platform scale rather than the deep tech, if you want, kind of part. But we'll get there. But I think for us, it's still a little early.
Mark, your thoughts?
Well, it's almost a complete same answer from all three of us. Certainly, the adoption of AI is one of the biggest buzzwords, but specific to the payments industry, one of our biggest ongoing challenges is the increase of payment fraud. We have a product suite that allows both businesses and consumers to make payments, as well as we white label quite a few products to our strategic partners. And across all of those areas, fraud is key. So one of the things we're currently looking at on our longer term roadmap is how we adopt AI to complement those proprietary algorithms that Fred spoke about. We have a number of security propositions whereby making payments through our platforms should be more secure than traditional payments through your bank or other payment rails. So we're also in the AI camp, and we're looking at how best to basically adopt those technologies and include them within our product suite.
Awesome. Well, guys, that concludes our webinar on tech equity. Thanks so much for jumping on today.
Thank you so much, Elliot. Thank you, guys.